Purpose of this video is to help you put together a simulation that stops according to a custom criteria. Now, ExtendSim simulations will automatically stop when one of two conditions are met. Either all the items that you've created have run out, meaning they've exited through the exit block. This is assuming you've created a fixed number of items, or the end time that you've specified inside your simulation setup window. Once that end time set here, you can see that to 20 is exceeded, then your simulation will automatically terminate. Now, sometimes we want criteria for termination that don't meet either of those things. We would like to terminate our simulation at some other point and be able to calculate the metrics right at that point in time and then not have the simulation continue running. So in order to do that, one way to accomplish that is to use an equation block. And so if we have some criteria, like in this case, the good guy health in our zombie apocalypse model has gone down to 0. So we want the simulation to stop. So inside our equation block, we're going to use our zombie apocalypse criteria as our input. So whenever that gets to be less than or equal to 0, we want the simulation to stop. So to do that, we're going to override some of the ExtendSim internal variables, and those are shown in this code as being red. You have to make sure when you type in these equations, you can either copy and paste the code from the description in the YouTube video notes, or you can type it in yourself, but you need to type in these exact words because they are reserved keyword variables and you won't run properly without it. So when you open up that equation editor, you should see them in red. If you don't, you've typed in something wrong. Notice that there's also some things here in blue. The font in blue is a reserved modal keyword. And the other things here are in black, telling you that those are user specified values. In this case, our input of the good guy health. So we're going to reset the end time. This causes the run to terminate cleanly. This differs from using the abort command because the abort command will cause not only the current run to terminate, but also will terminate the entire series. The abort command is intended for true error conditions where you want the simulation to completely shut off, as opposed to this technique, which is going to cause only this run to end and will leave all subsequent runs intact. Another thing you need to do to avoid messing up subsequent runs is making sure that the end time does not get set permanently to a lower value from the premature termination. And so to get an end run around that, you need to set the end time here to match whatever you have in the simulation setup. That way it effectively resets your end time in subsequent runs to the normal end time that you wanted. If you don't do that, your end time will wind up getting shorter and shorter on subsequent runs, and you'll be wondering what's wrong with your program when you're doing that, or you'll just think you have weird results. Okay, so the other thing, you want to make sure that whatever input you have is listed in this input variables column, and that comes automatically from your connector. You can also output the value at the ending time of the run if that's data that you need to capture. Another way to stop runs that you don't want to use is the notify block. So the notify block is on the value menu, and that will cause not only this simulation to run, but all subsequent ones. And that's why for this particular application, it's not desirable.